all of a sudden we see these radical changes. We see people climbing this ladder very quickly. Maybe we see them never like sliding back down that pyramid, right? They kind of stay where they're at, and then they start getting a better job, and they start getting better relationships, and they start providing more for their families, and then that makes them feel more secure. Hey friends, Nico here with another amazing YouTube video just for you, featuring the famous Nico Doodles. Now, before I jump into that, first I got to show you this super dope, amazing HRT University swag. This is again one of the like kind of crew neck sweaters that we're working on. I think it turned out awesome. This is a really famous painting by William Blake. It's called The Ancient of Days. And there's a whole backstory to it, but I'm not going to like totally ruin it for you just yet. Here, I want to spoil you and surprise you. And you can even see little teeny HRT University lettering there. So I think it's pretty awesome. We've got tons of more stuff coming out like this. I know you're all probably like, when is it going to come out? The answer is soon. We're working on it, I promise. Okay. Today, I was going to introduce you to something that's really near and dear to my heart, and it is Maslow's hierarchy of needs. I don't know how many of you remember that. I think most of you should. If you're like in the healthcare world, you should remember that probably from college, like bachelor's degree, Psych 101, probably again in like nursing school or MD school or PA school, whatever. You've probably seen it before, right? So Abraham Maslow, super famous behavioral psychologist here in the States, who came up with this idea called Maslow's hierarchy of needs. And it's really hard to like describe just with words. So I thought, man, this is going to make an amazing YouTube video because I get to show off my kick-ass drawings and penmanship skills. It's not that good. But anyways, let's get to it. Let me show you what I got cooking for you because I think you're going to really, really like it. And if you don't like it, you don't have to tell me because my ego's too weak to handle it. Okay, so here's Maslow's hierarchy. I'll put his name up here. Let's give the guy some credit. Maslow's hierarchy. Oh gosh. Hierarchy of needs. Okay. So Maslow came up with this amazing little pyramid over here that you see. And I guess the moral of the story is he wanted to kind of help exemplify what exactly a human being needs to get from the base of the pyramid all the way to the top of the pyramid. Okay. Most people that you're going to run into, guys, and I mean this pretty seriously, most people that you run into are living in the kind of bottom part of the period. Okay. You probably know this just by, if you go to the grocery store once a week or something to that effect, like you'll probably see these people. They're probably not all that healthy. They're probably sort of destitute, maybe. They don't maybe seem to have a lot of friends or family. Like it's a sad story. A lot of people out there live in this bottom rung of the pyramid. And this is kind of we call it basic needs, right? So these are the things that we as human beings require to stay alive. Okay. So there's physiological needs. What would that be composed of if you think of physiological needs? So how about food? That's an obvious one. We need food. How about clean water? Maybe, warmth or something like that, being able to stay warm or even being able to stay cool, right? So like temp regulation. There's all kinds of physiological needs that have to be met for us as, just regular old fashioned human beings to stay healthy and well and to have really good outcomes. Not only that, but to also climb the ladder or climb the pyramid, right? We don't want to stay stuck if all we're doing all day long is just trying to solve our physiological needs. This is like a homeless person. I mean, it was really not very fun to be in this bottom of the pyramid. Okay. So most of us, luckily in society, don't stay here. Okay. So that's great. Most of us actually do end up graduating to kind of like the safety part. So safety would be something like, okay, cool. So I'm fed and I'm watered and now maybe I need a house. Right? A roof over my head. Maybe I need, a lock on my door to keep me safe, right? There's all kinds of different things that we would see there, right? But A lot of people, I think, kind of stop here in their lives. Okay, so they meet those physiological needs: food, water, temperature regulation, fantastic. Maybe they have a kind of crappy apartment or shitty home or something like that, or maybe they're living with roommates or whatever. But hey, at least maybe they're not totally homeless or something fantastic. But a lot of people end up getting stuck there, which is a real shame. So that their basic needs are met, but that's about it. And that's a darn shame, because it's really, again, it's not a great place to be. Where we really want to be is climbing the pyramid up to belongings and love. Okay. So belongings and love, right? These are things like, items that you love, right? Those could be like, my car, fancy heirlooms, things that I have in my possession. But beyond belongings, we also have belongingness, right? So that could be items you own. That could be your, let's just say, tribe, so to speak, right? Who are the people you hang out with, right? I belong to the whatever, American Academy of Nurse Practitioners, right? That's my crew. I love hanging with the NPs. Or my crew is Harley Davidson. I love Harley Davidson. I'm a biker and I love hanging out with other bikers. We have a belongingness, and we have even our belongings that kind of coincide there together, right? I own this thing and other people own this thing, and we get to hang out together. So there's a little bit of both at play there. But also, I think the more cool part about this is we don't just like belong or have belongings, but we actually have love. Who doesn't want love? Right. So again, family. Now, of course, that can be a belongingness too, right? I have a family that I belong to, and they belong to me, so to speak. That could be your partner. Super important. Really, really, really important to have this. And again, the love is returned to you. Okay. So this is important. Again, this isn't just like I love people. Those people love me back. Super important. Okay. We all need a little bit of that to make it through our day to day. Fantastic. And then we need esteem. So again, I find that a lot of people get stuck on the bottom of the pyramid. When they graduate, they usually can find a means of belonging to this group, right? They have kind of like it's not always the best to have a group identity, but they have a group that they belong to, or they feel that provides them some meaning and purpose, right? They have a family, maybe they have a partner, they have kids, they have love, right? There are people who are loving them, but that doesn't mean you love yourself, right? That's a totally different thing. So esteem is, how do you perceive yourself? Do you love yourself? Self-love. Do you have a good sense of who you are? Do you have the ability to, allocate your kind of physical and mental and psychosocial needs to meet this level of self-esteem where you love yourself and you kind of, even kind of know yourself a little bit? That's important too, right? So esteem is tough. We all struggle with esteem. That even gets into things like, even like imposter syndrome, right? Have you guys ever thought about imposter syndrome? Like imposter syndrome is a very, very real thing that we deal with. And sometimes it crosses into a little bit of our self-esteem, like our ego and who do we think of ourselves when we think of ourselves, and how do we think of ourselves when we think of ourselves? I know, deep esoteric stuff here. Okay. But that's a really important one. So again, if we're going back to the pyramid, you can see we have our basic needs, we have our psych needs. Okay, so we've moved beyond just basic physical stuff into now that I'm not so focused on just eating and sleeping and breathing and being safe, now I'm kind of turning my attention almost inward towards me. Do I belong? Do I experience love? And can I even reciprocate that? Do I, beyond just the group, the social aspect, do I also have a interest and self-love and knowing myself? Again, psych needs. Okay, we can't focus on psych needs if we're down here. Ain't gonna happen. Okay, you cannot focus on psych needs if you're in basic needs. Similarly, you can't focus on self-fulfillment if you're stuck in psych needs. Okay, if you can't seem to graduate from these, you're constantly going to be focusing on yourself. Now, again, I think this is where a lot of people experience kind of the more existential issues, depression and anxiety and, self-confidence issues, right? Like a lack of worth and lack of vision and things of that nature. So a lot of great people, by the way, I know amazing people who get stuck there, and it's really a shame. And they might oscillate a little bit, right? They might oscillate between like self-fulfillment, like they're kind of getting there, and then something happens and they kind of fall back, right? So we can also, by the way, fall back into these pyramids. Okay. If you lose your job, like it's probably going to make you go from here to here, right? If you end up homeless or something like that, we can graduate back up. So it's not like this thing is just like permanent, right? It's kind of a fluid thing. Okay. But nonetheless, psych needs. Okay. The next thing, the top of the pyramid, oops, let me get this back into focus here. The top of the pyramid is self-actualization. Ding, 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 ding. That is where we all want to end up. Okay. Self-actualization is so cool. It sounds really esoteric, but self-actualization is really this idea that once I have climbed this pyramid, okay, so remember, we are going from basic needs. I just need to like eat, sleep, and breathe, and have hopefully a roof over my head. And then we move to belonging and love and having that reciprocal stuff. Okay, great. I've got that fulfilled. Now I need to like love myself. So, okay, so we were like kind of outside of our heads living, right? Think about like being lost in the jungle trying to survive. And then we found a house. Fantastic. I can live here now. And then we move from, okay, cool, I've got a house, to now I can focus on finding friends and belonging to a group. And then I can focus on knowing and loving myself. Once you move beyond your psych needs, all of a sudden you get into self-fulfillment. And self-fulfillment and self-actualization is, in my humble opinion, based on my understanding of Maslow's hierarchy of needs, is when you really graduate to, I can stop thinking about myself for 3 seconds and start thinking about other people and even my position in this world and how I can create greater impact. Okay. Pretty cool. My dog's walking around behind me. So I love all of that. I think that's really important. Now, what in the world does this have to do with hormone replacement therapy or testosterone replacement therapy, or just like kind of the idea of medicine at large? Like what does that have to do with what we're trying to bring to the table when it comes to HRT and TRT? This is why I think HRT and TRT are so freaking important and meaningful, because, and it kind of makes sense, physiological needs. Okay, what are my physiological needs? Well, food, water, temperature regulation, of course. Well, what if you have hypogonadism? What if you have low testosterone? And by the way, that might not have been your fault. That might have been like, I got kicked in the nuts really hard and, lost both my testicles. I don't know. I'm making a story up. But like, what if that happens to you and you make 0 testosterone? You are not going to be you cannot fulfill all of your physiological needs. Okay, not to 100%. Maybe you fulfill them to like, I don't know, maybe you fulfill it to like 90%. That's not too bad, right? And then you can move into safety and stuff. But like, there's this little bit of the last 10% that we're missing. We're missing that last 10%. And I think this starts to become more and more obvious as we start climbing this ladder, okay? Because I think it starts getting in our way. I really do. I think it starts becoming more and more and more obvious as we get higher and higher up the ladder, okay? If we can't have the benefit of hormones, if we can't have the benefit, like it would be like, you can have a little bit of food, not a lot of food. You'll basically be starving a little bit, but don't worry about it. That's not good enough. Like most of us are going to feel that day to day, and it's not going to be good. And we're going to lose a lot of muscle, and maybe we're going to feel more tired and fatigued. And then maybe it's hard for us to fulfill a job, and maybe we get a job, but it's not the best job. Do you see what I'm getting at? Like, we can climb the ladder, but we can climb the rungs, but we've never really left those basic physiological needs area because we're lacking, say, testosterone. Okay. And by the way, if you've lost both your testicles, there ain't no other way to get testosterone. Okay. You can't out diet or out supplement that or out happiness yourself out of that problem. Like that's a big problem. It'd be like losing your foot. Like you're not going to get that back. Okay. The only way we could restore that is by something like TRT, right? And so TRT or even HRT, right? Hormone replacement therapy. I think both of those have a huge role in this Maslow's hierarchy of needs. I think it's pretty obvious. And what I find, and I think a lot of you guys have found this too, is that when we start applying hormone replacement therapy to our patients when we start, intervening with hormone replacement therapy, all of a sudden we see these radical changes. We see people climbing this ladder very quickly. Maybe we see them never like sliding back down that pyramid, right? They kind of stay where they're at, and then they start getting a better job, and they start getting better relationships, and they start providing more for their families, and then that makes them feel more secure. And by the way, they're getting better sleep, and they're getting better recovery, so their physiological needs are not even only being met, but like totally crushed. And then we end up in self-actualization, which is like, you know what? I can kind of move beyond my own head, my own problems now, my own anxieties and worries and fears. And now I can start actually intervening in the lives of my community, right? And it doesn't matter who you are, what you are. You don't have to make $1 million. You don't have to, start a business even. Like just how can I be the most effective version of myself? How can I know myself so well, so thoroughly? How can I love myself and respect myself? How can I know that deep down I am fulfilled because my mission and purpose and drive and vision is bigger than just me, right? It's bigger than just even my family who I love. Like I have all these things being met now. So now I can go out and do incredible things and provide incredible outcomes for other people. That is, in my humble opinion, what testosterone replacement therapy and hormone replacement therapy does better than just about anything. Okay. It is being able to introduce this into the biological system, and our biology knows exactly what to do with this stuff. And it's going to help us fulfill and climb this pyramid much faster than we ever thought possible. Okay. Because again, I'm a big fan of like, hey, pull yourself up by your bootstraps. Okay. Pull yourself up by your bootstraps. Go get checked. Get your blood work done. Do you have low testosterone? Is that why you struggle so much in some of these areas here? Okay. Is it why you just can't ever seem to have belongingness? Or is it why you can't ever seem to hold down a good job? Like maybe that's why you can't seem to end up here or even here, because you don't have hormones that can help push you and help guide you. And I know that might sound a little bit esoteric still, but I'm telling you, once you start implementing hormone replacement therapy in your practice for your patients, that's what you're going to start seeing, right? We see men starting their own businesses. We see men getting in better relationships when they're on testosterone. We see if they're in a relationship, that relationship is restored. We see them having kids. We see them going out and crushing it and doing their own things. We see the same thing for ladies, right? All of a sudden they're not miserable. They have better libido, which means their relationship with their husband's better. All these things start to kind of culminate and arrive together. And I think that is just freaking awesome. And that's why I love hormone replacement therapy so much. Again, so let's give it up to Maslow. What a guy. What a lovely just way to visualize this stuff. And I think, guys, if you really, really feel passionate about HRT just like I do, my gosh, when you get into this stuff and when you start recognizing, when you start seeing the changes that your patients are going to experience, I think it's just radical. So I hope this was helpful, guys. I'll end it here. Remember, don't forget to check out hrtuniversity.com if you're interested in learning more about hormones. Okay, this is the fastest growing educational platform in the world. It's an ecosystem where we help you learn and understand and love hormone replacement therapy for men and women. It's super comprehensive. It's lovely. There's private membership. There's a community to it, right? Talk about belongingness. Like I want to belong. I want to belong with people. I want to feel that love, and we have that love there. It's awesome. Don't forget to check out nicomislanp.com. I'll have these links below, guys. That's my daily email. If you guys are just wanting to learn a little bit more about me and about hormone replacement therapy, it's a great way to learn. I write an email Monday through Friday. No ChatGPT. It's just me, my own words, my own thoughts on hormones and peptides and all kinds of cool stuff. So, all right, guys, hope this was helpful, and see you at the next one.